Today we're going to talk about hate and fake reviews and cancel culture, not only in the roofing industry, but in business in general. If you're new to the channel and this video brought any value to you, subscribe, comment, do your thing, because the topic is very big. I have seen several people canceled in the past few days because of what they have said about Charlie Kirk and his assassination. This is not going to be a bashing videos. I'm not taking on those people. I'm not fueling that fire that's burning right now, and that's for another channel. I do have a channel where I expose bad players. We have 2 videos there right now. We're working on a few more stories. It's called Not My Cup of Tea. This is business channel in the roofing industry. We're #1 as far as education goes and positive stories. So this is a positive video. Top 10 forbidden topics for you to talk about it or not recommended. In the past 5-7 years, I have seen at least 5 people who are no longer creating content or have relevance because they were canceled. This is not easy job. You will get canceled. You will have a lot of hate, and it can happen to absolutely anyone. There are YouTubers who have been canceled and gone, and there are YouTubers who came back and striving today. So I want to give you guidelines what not to talk about it, and if you decide to talk about it, what you can expect and how to do damage control. #1, anything involving kids in a negative way. We're talking about exploitation, harm, or even jokes about children will destroy your trust instantly. If you have tolerance to that kind of acts, you will be canceled. Why is that? I want you to really understand why people react this way to this type of content. First of all, we all can relate. We all have kids, either our kids or we know a kid who either been harmed or we know how bad it is. So because we can relate to it, it hits home. What if that would be my child, right? So some people also argue, and I remember a conversation with Benny when he interviewed a pedophile, the narrative was, well, shouldn't we give second chances to people? No, we should not. If you are sick enough to hurt a child, especially if it's anything sexual, you should be canceled, and you should not become a coach or guru or pastor or whatever. You are done. If you're doing that kind of stuff, you are done. And it's very different from drug addictions, and it's very different from DUIs and stuff. There are stuff even in the Bible that we should forgive and we should give people second chances, but hurting kids is not in that category. So that is absolutely forbidden. And people who try to do it, and as a matter of fact, even right now with the Epstein files, come on buddy, let me film this video. Even with the Epstein files, you can see that people are not forgetting, and they want to see the list, and they want to see the people, and it's a serious topic. So #2, sexualized or explicit content, suggestive post, OnlyFans style marketing, or shock sexual humor. Now this one is, there are people who go after it, right? And even right now in the industry, we have Bass Dam Roofer who definitely posts sexualizing content. You have to know your audience, and you have to know what will be tolerated. Most of the time, this kind of stuff, whether you're sexualizing yourself by wearing cleavage that's too open or whatever, just be prepared that it will offend people, that you will get backlash. You don't have to be canceled, but you will have a lot of negative criticism. That's what happened to Armando when he decided to hire model. I don't think it was that bad. It wasn't like anything immoral or whatever, but it triggered people because now we're sexualizing a woman, and he wanted, I guess, I don't even know what he was thinking about, making roof sexy again. I think that was the slogan. Well, it did not go well. I don't remember all the details. I'm not gonna show you B-roll for it, but that model was not provocative. It was just modeling on the roof, but it did not have good reaction, and Armando did not have big spine enough to handle it, right? He did not take it well, and it pretty much got him out of that media space. Push something like that, you have to have a strong mentality. Bass Dam Roofer would be a great example, who does not care what people think. I am who I am, and I'm gonna go for it. The founder of Playboy, Hebner, he had that mentality. If that's you, go ahead, but don't be surprised that people do not like you. Number 3, this one is big, and this is exactly what happened this week, is mocking death, tragedy, or serious illness. Even if you're trying to be edgy or funny, audience see it as heartless. Logan Paul years ago was canceled and lost millions of subscribers when he traveled to Japan and he was smiling next to the person who committed suicide. It was big video, big story, long recovery for Logan Paul. And this week I have seen quite a few people mocking Charlie Kirk's death, saying he deserved it. It will never go well. Like, if you mock at a person who is ill, who is dying, you have to show your heart. Like, you can't be heartless because it's a human life. It's the most important thing. People will never tolerate you mocking a person. There are exceptions to this rule, but even death penalty, kind of edgy topic, because even when we say, okay, this monster did this and this, he deserves to die, and when he goes die, like, we have to be careful how we say it. I'm not trying to cancel myself and open the topic about that penalty, but it just shows you that even when it's a bad person, we still have to be careful and we still have to show passion. In how we kill those people is also matters. What happened this week, Marcus Mitchell have decided that he's gonna take his stance, and he did, and he got canceled, and his business got over 700 reviews. I mean, they're all going to be taken down. That's a different topic, and we'll talk about it, or the fake or hate reviews. But that's what happened this week. He tried to say something after. People did not accept his apology, and we'll talk about it. Damage control. If you do post something stupid, what you should do. And I will cover what happened to Marcus and why it happened, because I know the guy and I know the backstory. But mocking death strategy, never going to go well. Number 4, pranks. What's hilarious to you can look humiliating, cruel, or staged for others. Now, pranks, we actually have right now few people outside the country literally in jails, because we have this culture in the United States where it was popular 10-15 years ago, but today you can get punched, you get a shot. It's not a good thing to do. That's a good way to get canceled, especially if you're the business owner. Number 5, attacking or belittling your own followers or customers. Insulting your community can end your brand overnight. We have a great case study here. It's Greg Glassman, founder of CrossFit, literally cost him sport during the COVID. One of his gym franchisees sent him an email. She was panicking, right? Small businesses, the gyms don't make a lot of money. They barely can struggle. And when the government says we're going to shut down, so everything outside was bad. But what's worse is how he replied to that email, and that email got leaked. So he pretty much told her, "You're panicking. Shut up. Don't talk about it. This is not real. COVID is not real." He brought Floyd in it, like the Floyd is staged. So he talked about Floyd, he talked about COVID. He was pissed and irritated, you can tell it. But the problem was he was addressing it with the people who bought into his vision, who bought his gym, who paid him yearly fee to have the CrossFit on their box, on their gym. The email went viral. Everybody talking about it. He lost lots and lots of business owners. They're like, unsubscribing, not going to be part of it. If this is how you treat us, we don't want to be part of it. A lot of athletes who go to CrossFit Games said we're not going this year. So he ended up selling it to someone else, because otherwise it would be canceled all the way down. He overreacted as a leader, and I don't think you can afford to overreact, especially with your employee, to have that kind of confrontation. So never a good idea. Number 6, radical politics and culture war topics. Israel versus Gaza, Russia versus Ukraine, gay marriage, abortion. We're all entitled to, freedom of speech and speak up, and there's no problem that you have strong opinion on it. But as a leader of your company, be careful what you say, right? I'm Russian, and there's a lot of things I want to say about Ukraine war. I'm against the war. I hate this war with a passion, but I'm not gonna make my YouTube channel about Russia-Ukraine war. And I've been provoked hundreds of times in the past 3 years. People ask me questions, they ask me to comment, why don't you make a video about it? Non-stop. Not gonna do it. Everybody who knows me knows my stance, knows how much I hate that war. But I'm going to be professional. I don't want to be canceled, and I don't want to divide the audience. I don't want to offend people. This is not the place and this is not the time. If I want to do something like that, I'll start maybe another YouTube channel that will only talk about politics. That will be appropriate on that channel. But as a founder of my 4 or 5 businesses that I have, I don't think it's appropriate. I'm not going to talk about it. And a great example would be Elon Musk. Look what happened to him when he aligned with Trump. And what happened to Tesla? Not only reviews, but literally people were burning his cars. This is the outcome. When you take one side, when you go too far with your politics, it has nothing to do with your product. You have to be true to your business, and you have to put business interest first, people who followed you. Now, if you want to go and piss the rest of the people, I would say sell the business first, or do something to the business, but then go chase your political career. But you can't really do both. Number 7 on my list is religion in a preachy or mocking way. I've seen so many people lead with the Christianity. I have no problem Christians in business. People should know what faith are you. Like, I love Patrick Bet-David. Like, he never preaches, but everybody knows, right? You don't want to lead with it. You want people almost to ask you, what religion are you? What church do you go to? By the way you treat people, what do you do? Come on, this is not nice. What do you do and why you do it, right? You want to be asked, not lead with it. And we're all sick and tired of people who, lead with the religion, saying, they're safe. And then you see the way they live. I'm like, are you really a Christian? Are you really that good? Because Christians don't do that. And we actually recently on my other channel did story on Mary Jane, who owes and steals money from people, but then goes to church every Sunday and preaches, and every post is about Jesus. Don't do it. You will be canceled. Number 8, violence, weapons, or anything encouraging harm. Even as jokes, those can be flagged, demonetized, or reported. So saying anything about like, oh, you should be killed, or you should be doing, like, no violence, no asking for riots, not only because it's bad taste, but if you're the business owner, yes, you can weigh in on gun rights, like you can be pro-gun or against, right, whatever. That's freedom of speech. But when you go in and say that person should be executed, like that's what we see a lot with the Charlie Kirk, those people who say those things usually get canceled pretty fast. Number 9, drugs, alcohol, party lifestyle content, unless you have restaurant or bar or nightclub. If it's your business, then it would be exception. There's nothing wrong with the parties. Birthday party, go out, Vegas, whatever. But when you lead with it, if you lead organization and you go out and you brag about how much you like to drink, how much fun do you have, strip clubs, stuff like that, that's tasteless. That's usually does not go well, and probably sooner or later will be used against you. Not to mention, it's not a good example for your employees or your potential customers. It's usually not a good idea to post that kind of stuff, even in the personal pages. And number 10 is universal accusations or conspiracy theories. Like, I get it that you might believe that Earth is flat, and we have few people in the roofing industry who led with that. But if you're the business owner and you talk about it nonstop, like, 9/11 controversy, like landing on the moon. It could be anything, right? The earth is flat. As a business owner, you have to be very careful with the message because, conspiracy theories, they always have these two sides. There are reasons why people don't believe in them and think there's conspiracy, right? I would recommend start a channel, start something that's like, hey, here's my hobby and I like conspiracies, but I don't mix it with my business, right? But if you're the business owner and you lead with it, that's usually not a good idea to lead with those. So those are my top 10 categories what not to post. Now I want to give you a couple tips what to do if you do decide to be edgy. So number 1, you have to know your audience, and you have to know your audience really well. What will they tolerate? What they will not tolerate. Everybody's different. I'll give you an example. Basden Broofer. Love him or hate him, he knows his audience. So if that's you, if you know what you stand on before you click post, it's like, okay, if people hate me for this, I'm ready, right? It means that you're confident in your topic, in your stance. But if you're just trying to be edgy, hoping that people are gonna like you, and now they dislike you and you're gonna delete it, it's too late. Internet never forgets it. This is exactly what happened to Marcus this week. He deleted and immediately apologized, but it was a little too late. So number 2, you have to think it through. every once in a while, you will have a moment where you like, I want to post it. It's the right thing to do, but I don't know. Like I had that with the Lee hate fight, right? I knew my audience. I knew that a lot of people support it, a lot of people don't. But sometimes you have to go with your gut. And I was prepared. I'm like, you know what? It took me actually 2-3 weeks to make the decision because it was inevitable. He would fight me like at Expo, whatever. So I'm like, it's either going to be a controlled fight or it's going to be a bar fight. What do I want? So I accepted it. But I also knew that people, and actually Mitchell was one of the biggest opponents of it. Like I was getting hate and it's like, oh, this is stupid and why would you do it? Unfollow it. But guess what? In my opinion, it was the best thing ever that happened to my channel, to my audience, because I know my audience. Now, everywhere I go, I have thousands and thousands of people who come shake my hand, say, thank you so much for beating that guy. And thank you so much for doing that for us. I also have a lot of haters. You cannot please everyone. The point I'm trying to make is you have to think it through. But once you do, you have to stand your ground. Now, number 3, you have to stand your ground and don't apologize for position, but do apologize if you're hurt feelings. So, that's my position. I'm going to fight Lee Hate, for example, and, if it offends you, I'm sorry. Now, do you remember what happened with the Benny Fisher? So the problem there was not just the interview. The problem was he was not listening to the people. People were saying, hey, this interview offends us. I'm a survivor of sexual crime. I'm this, I'm this. So people, like a lot of women came in, hundreds of comments. People were begging him to delete it and he did not delete it. So the video stayed all day until end of the day. You have to ask yourself, are you doing it for yourself or for our audience? Because if 99% of comments saying this is offensive to us and you still do it, you have to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Like, what ground are you standing on? What are you accomplishing with that piece of content? And he actually managed it really well. He came back, he apologized later, he took time to reconsider, right? And this is what we don't see with Mitchell. Now, I want to address few comments. Marcus White was all over in comments that, these reviews are fake. Well, first of all, you cannot control people writing negative reviews when you do something stupid online. I'll give you one case study on it. A year ago, employee of a major grocery store in Michigan. So they have a manager of the store who called the police on 19-year-old employee. So the employee sometimes would forget his credit cards, his wallet at home, and he would be eating food at work, like fruit cups, like some stupid stuff. Some of it was from the garbage can, stuff that they would throw away anyway. So manager, instead of dealing with the guy, instead of having conversation, was writing him up for 30 days until the amount would be past $120, so he can call the police on him. He got police were called and the guy was arrested. The nicest guy. You can hear remorse. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was forgetting my wallet. I was hungry, right? So what are we doing with the society? The story aired on local news and people were outraged. So they went to the store, wrote a whole bunch of reviews. They were calling the store. They were boycotting. It's like, if that's how you do business, we don't want to buy from you. We don't want to do business with you now. That would be hate review. And people would say, but it's not real experience. Well, says who? So if I buy from that store, maybe I did not see it in my hands, but I see the video. Like if I go to the store and I see if I see police coming and someone arresting, and I was like, hey, what's going on there? And people would say, well, this guy stole some food, he ate some food, and manager called the police and now he's getting arrested. I would say, you're getting 1 star from me and I'll never shop here again. I mean, you're cute and everything. You're the most handsome cat I know, but we need to finish this video, buddy. Have a meeting to get to. What Marcus did is he started blocking people, attacking them, but what he didn't do, he didn't apologize, right? I don't think Marcus is a bad guy per se. I think he's dumb. I think he's stupid. I haven't seen anything like worth following as far as like good business content, podcast, right? But he also positioned himself as a marketer. He's also, don't forget, we're teaching people through his cartel media how to post. He was asking for that business. He was literally going like, hey, if you don't want to manage your social accounts, let me do it for you. So this is not your average user of the internet. This is the person who wants to be influencer, who's asking brands to pay him, and who's also asking people to hire him to manage social media. What happened to Marcus this week, the lesson there is when you declare the war on your industry and absolutely on everyone, sooner or later, everybody will turn back on you. I did not call him out, even though for the past 3 years, he was hating on everything we do. He was hating on every conference, including Roofing Process conference. He was hating on my underlayment. He was hating on our fight with Lee. He was hating on everyone in the industry, and so many people have him on the block list. So when this happened, what I've noticed, many people used it as opportunity to share. You know what? You've been doing it to others. You've been calling everybody, names and blocking them and hating on them. So now we're going to do this. We'll always say about conferences and going somewhere, learning new things. I did not know Charlie Kirk, and both me and Marcus went to Win the Storm this year. The difference between me and Marcus is I had open mindset and Marcus was closed mindset. So Marcus was there. He was at Win the Storm. He had the opportunity to take a picture with the Charlie Kirk, to listen to the conversation, to react. And I think it was amazing. It was a phenomenal experience. You can actually see it. I did a review of Win the Storm and I talk about it, that Charlie Kirk was not my choice of speaker that I would pick, but I was blown away how he handled himself, how honest he was about it. Like, he was calling out roofers in that room. He was telling us that we're all criminals for hiring illegal immigrants. He was not holding back, and he got my brain working like crazy. I'm like, wow, I did not see that perspective. I did not see that perspective. So as he was talking, I moved all the way to the front and I decided to ask him a question. That was my first and last interaction with Charlie Kirk. And I asked him a question, 3-4 minute conversation. He actually said, I really like that guy. And that means a lot. And then 2 weeks later, he is dead. Now, for me, it's a tragedy because I get to know the guy and I've experienced that because I was open-minded going to this event. And Marcus went to the event already disliking the guy, did not take the opportunity to challenge his stance, and the moment he got shot, Marcus decided to say what he said, and he got what he got. With that, I'm going to close this video. Comment below what you think about the topic. I know it's very hard. I know our hearts are heavy, but I read all of my comments. Let's have a debate. Talk about those reviews. I personally think that those reviews are real reviews. I'm not encouraging it, but I don't think they are fake. If you're doing something stupid, you can expect it. I know if I do something stupid, I know if I did posts like that, my business would get negative reviews. They're probably going to be removed by Google because it violates the algorithm and the rules, but I would not call them fake. They are hate. If I'm the one who is inviting that hate, it's on me. And McQueen is back. Comment below what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video.